Hello everyone, my name is Kitetsu and welcome back to my channel. So I'm really excited about this, and thanks to all of the people who've been tipping me off about this little leak we've had on the American site of Amazon. It's not actually on the English one at the moment, but yeah, just thanks to all of you who told me about this. Gotrek and Felix are returning to Age of Sigmar. There is going to be a brand new audio drama about these two characters, and I assume it's going to be in a book form as well. I really can't wait to read this, to be honest. It's such good news, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a quick summary of who these characters are, and then I'm going to tell you a little bit about the leak we've had of the new book. It looks like Amazon have somehow made a bit of a blunder because they've put the pre-order for the new audio book up 8 months early. It's February at the moment and they're saying it's going to come out in, I believe, October at the end of this year. But yeah, anyway, the new book is going to be called Realmslayer, and we've got this provisional cover art here which you can see on the screen at the moment. But let's talk a little bit about who these characters actually are. Gotrek and Felix are the stars of a whole heap of novels, always ending in Slayer. So we've had Troll Slayer, Skaven Slayer, Demon Slayer, so obviously it makes sense that the new one was going to be called something like Realmslayer, because Realms for obviously something to do with Age of Sigmar, and Slayer to bring back in the classic Gotrek and Felix name. Not only that, they've had a whole load of short stories and all sorts of stuff, so to be honest, it's a bit of a daunting prospect for me to go back and read all of these. I have a bit of a shameful confession, and that is that I have never actually read a Gotrek and Felix novel. So when you guys tipped me off about this, I thought, well, I kind of remember them, but I've never read the books. And I had to go away and do a bit of research, but the second I found out about them, I went away and bought a copy of Troll Slayer. So that's in the post on the way to me, and just reading a little bit of the blurb on what the first book was about, I was immediately hooked. I didn't want to spoil the book, so I didn't read too much about what it's about, but what I did read was enough to make me think, yeah, this is a book that anyone who loves fantasy should probably read. It almost sounds to me like classic Terry Pratchett set in the Warhammer Fantasy universe. And I think that first particular book was actually like a murder mystery style story where these two are tracking down a killer, but I didn't want to find out too much about it. As for who these two characters actually are, we have Gotrek the Slayer, who is kind of seen by many as the most successful Slayer to have ever lived. But if you look at it from the actual Slayer perspective, then you would probably think he's actually the least successful Slayer of all times. If you know anything about Slayers, basically they're normally on a quest for a glorious death. They're kind of glory seekers, and basically there is nothing more important to them than dying in battle in a way that people will remember. Unfortunately for Gotrek, he keeps throwing himself in the most absolutely obscene and ridiculous scenarios where he has absolutely no hope of surviving, and somehow he always comes out on top. As for his companion Felix, he was actually born into a really rich and sort of noble background, and he went to university to study poetry, but whilst there he apparently challenged someone to a duel and accidentally killed them, so he was expelled. Not long afterwards, he is caught up in this horrible riot and Gotrek saves his life. The two of them get thoroughly drunk in a tavern, and Felix does something very stupid. Whilst he is listening to Gotrek's tale of seeking his glorious death, Felix promises that he will travel with him so that he can document and record this death in a book so that everyone will know Gotrek's story. The problem is that he actually makes a binding blood oath to Gotrek that he will do this. So he essentially gets stuck with Gotrek until Gotrek can manage to achieve this glorious death. And as I said earlier, Gotrek is just failing to die. Try as he might, he cannot be defeated in battle. Apparently it even gets to the ludicrous heights of Gotrek challenging a bloodthirster in one-on-one combat, and somehow he still wins. Gotrek actually thinks he's getting to the point where he is just going to die of old age at this point, and he cannot take that. it would be the most dishonourable, worst thing that could ever happen to him. So that's who the characters are. We've actually had a few different models of them in the past, so I'm really hoping that their return means that we will get more of these models for Age of Sigmar. Let's have a quick look at Amazon at the blurb that they have for the new book, and it does actually have a few spoilers in it for the end times, so just a bit of a warning there, nothing too major. Here it is. Okay, so Realmslayer, it's under audiobooks and it's saying it's coming out October the 16th, 2018. So I'm just going to read this out to you. Fabled hero of the Warhammer Old World, Gotrek Gurnisson is reborn and cast into the Age of Sigmar for a brand new feature-length audio adventure. Gotrek Gurnisson was the greatest monster slayer of the age who met his doom at the end times. The heroic duardin stepped forth into the realm of chaos to fight the demons gnawing at the world's ending and satisfy his death oath, leaving behind his companion Felix Jaeger. Now Gotrek has returned, having outlived the old gods and the old world, spat from the ruinous depths. With his redemption unfulfilled, he emerges into the mortal realms, a strange new world where gods walk the earth and dark forces are ascendant. Nothing is as he remembers. His oaths are dust, and the lands are torn asunder by chaos. Yet when Gotrek learns of human champions being enslaved to immortality for Sigmar's fight against this darkness, the so-called Stormcast Eternals, he knows why fate has brought him into this new age: to find Felix. For only then can he find the peace in death he seeks. But is there more to Gotrek's apotheosis than even he can fathom? Has he truly been chosen by Grimnir, and for what purpose? This audio drama box set contains a 4-part story read by a stellar cast recounting the much anticipated return of Gotrek Gurnisson. So there we have it. It sounds exciting, and it's actually challenging that whole gap we have in the lore at the moment as to what happens with these characters returning from the old world, because really the story of Warhammer Fantasy just completely carries over into Age of Sigmar. Alarielle is reborn, Sigmar survives, Archaon is still there, the Chaos Gods are all the same, the Great Horned Rat is still there, Tyrion, Teclis are back, Dryka Hammerdreth is still there. There are loads and loads of returning characters, but until now we've just heard that these characters wake up in the realms and get on with it. We don't really know much more than that, and I'm quite excited for Games Workshop to go back and have someone tell this story of exactly what happens. To be honest, I want to keep this video short but sweet. I don't want to bore you guys, and I could talk about this probably for considerably longer, but then I will probably go off on tangents and rants. To be honest, I can't believe I haven't actually read any of these books based on how good they look. But the first one, as I said, came out in 1999, which was pretty much the exact year I got into Warhammer. And in fact, upstairs on my shelf, I even have the 1999 Games Workshop catalogue. So I remember seeing this book coming out, but back then I was way too into Wood Elves to have particularly cared about these books coming out, and I was still fairly young, so I don't know how I would have got on with reading these books anyway. But anyway, I'm very excited. I'm hoping that because it says about being chosen by Grimnir, we might actually get an update on that particular god as well, because at the moment, you know, he's just been shattered and the Fyreslayers are looking for all of his pieces. So I think it would personally be a welcome addition to the lore to hear more about him. It almost sounds like a one-off novel, but it would be cool if there's actually a new series of these characters in the mortal realms. I would absolutely love that. And I would also love it if they do bring out the new figures for them. Even if they were just like limited edition or something, I would like definitely go and get those. But anyway guys, you are absolutely awesome. Thank you so much for all of the support I've been getting recently. It's just absolutely incredible. Like, it still blows my mind to think that I'm not that far away from 4,000 subscribers, and it's just been an incredible and fun journey, and it's all just worth it with how much support you guys give me. I really have tapped into such an incredible and positive community of people. But yeah, don't forget to smash that like button, Don't forget to subscribe if you're new to the channel, and you can support me on Patreon. The link for that is down in the description. But yeah, also thanks to all the people who told me about this little leak. You know, if you guys ever find stuff like that, just drop me comments. I read every single comment I ever get. Even if I don't have time to reply to every single one, I promise you I read them. So yep, just let me know whatever you want me to talk about, whatever's exciting, whatever's new. Sometimes you guys know stuff before I do, and it's still stuff that I really want to talk about. But yep, that's it from me for now, so I will see you guys really soon.